Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I've set this channel up to promote my items that I've got for sale on Etsy, and what I sell is items for junk journals. I sell big packs which include lots of different bits and pieces of ephemera, but I also sell a lot of off-cut packs on various subjects. So that's what I want to start with on my first video, just to show you a couple of packs that I've got for sale, and then if you'd like to have a look, you're quite welcome to go over to Etsy. So the first one, these are actually, I tend to do things on certain subjects, so I might have a colour theme or an era theme. These are different decades, so I'll show you a couple of these that I've got for sale. Right, this one is for 1920s and 30s. Now I would normally do just one by itself for 1920s and then a separate one for the 30s, but the things all tend to mix together and I haven't got enough to do a separate pack for each one. So what I've got is, it's pictures of fashions, professions, events, things like that, that I put into all of the packs. The first thing I've got is a little picture from 1935 of a sugar bag filling at the Tate and Lyle refinery. It's a nice old picture of workers. I tend to put about 50 pieces in a pack, so we'll just go through quickly some of the pieces that I've got. I know you can't see the writing because it's the other way around, but I would have thought the picture is quite obvious what it was. It's the king renouncing his throne for Mrs. Simpson, which was a big event in 1936, so I thought we'd put that in. I tend to try and get the writing, obviously, again, it's backwards way on, but 1920s and 30s, so if we're doing a project, at least you'd have the decades on there. We've got a piece about the Great Depression in 1929 and events that went up till 1939. We've got a lady in a typical 30s outfit, hats in particular. We've got the Jarrow March. This one's to do with television, ranging from 1923 to 1927, with various things that happened in that time. We've got a cricket event from 1930. And we've got very little picture, but I still include it. Laurel and Hardy, obviously they were very popular in those days. We've got a 1926 car. This is a quite nice little piece. It's the Daily Mail Nipper Annual from 1939. So that would have been something to enjoy at the time. Oh, now this one, that is a typical 1930s look of a baby in a pram while the parents were working in the fields. Right, now this one, it always makes me laugh looking at these. Basically, +4s I believe these are, which look a bit strange these days, but that's what they wore. We've got an old advert just saying good night, typical 30s look on a lady. This one is just a piece about Isadora Duncan, the dancer. Goodbye my friends, I go to glory, 1927. What's this one? That's just fashion again with all the hats and things. Fashion again, you can't see this one very well, but that's there we go. That's a typical 1930s outfit. This is to do with America, part of the New Deal in creating more jobs, so that's workers again there. Same there with the typical hats and things. Flat cap, young boy there. This one is actually a doll's house, an advert for a doll's house, but that was from the 1930s as well. I've got a piece that was actually taken from Vintage Winnie the Pooh book, but it's got typical 1920s type outfit, so I've included that one. That is just a corner piece that was taken off something, but that might be quite nice to just use as part of a collage or whatever. Typical 1920s type street. There again, fashion. Popular fashion at the time. Right, and this one, that's really interesting. A new dancing star emerges in 1933. And it's Fred Astaire, just coming out. So I think that one's quite nice. That's just typical clothes again. Same there with a 1920s type dress. Workers again in their flat caps. This I quite like. Gramophone of the time in the 30s. This is one when daylight fades. I believe this is to do with electricity being brought into all areas. From rags to riches, that's basically to do with the Depression again. This is a small one, but this is to do with undergarments for ladies. Quite a nice little advert. And then a typical doll from the 1930s. Just a strange looking doll, but never mind. Right, the first Academy Awards were presented in 1929. So that's quite a nice little piece of ephemera. This one is about singing the blues, and it's an American Bessie Smith was famous for singing the blues, so that's a little piece about her. Now we've got a swimming costume at the time from 1930s. This one I wanted to include world events, even though some of them aren't really very nice, but something major in 1937 was the Hindenburg exploding. So I do like to include events of the time. This is to do with something Britain comes to a standstill in 1926 to do with the car productions and things. That's another one from the Winnie the Pooh book with the fashions again. And that one is the other side of the other page with the 1920s and 30s streets. We've got fashion again here. There's suits and things, but it's also mentioning about toe caps and corn caps. So that's quite an interesting little piece. Oh, and this one with the holidays again. So that's a 1930s lady on holiday. What's this one? 1935 Jesse Owens, athlete. There, very famous person. Right, this I particularly like because it really does show the fashion things of the era. So it's to do with the three ladies discussing the Eubank cleaner. So I think that's quite a nice piece. I often include wording, so I thought I'd put the Great, no you can't see it, but the Great Depression. I like wording that relates to the era. This one is actually, you can't tell from this, but it's actually from Disney Studios, where they were discussing new films and things. That's, I believe, from about 1935. We've got children's outfits, again from the 30s. That one is people queuing during the Depression. And they were queuing in the streets for food and what have you. That one, I think we're all expecting, is a bit of a Charleston picture from the 20s. Dancing and with a flapper dress on. I quite like that piece. And then the last one, which was quite obvious, is the King's coronation, which I think is a nice sepia coloured picture. So there we have the first couple of packs, or one pack made into two, should I say. So that's 50 pieces. So if you're doing a collage or a journal kit, or you're doing your own journal for the era, it could be any sort of scrapbooking thing relating to these two decades, I should say. This would be very, very nice. So if you'd like to have a look, please take a look on Etsy, and then you'll be able to see what other packs I do as well. So the second pack I want to show you is another era, and it's the 1980s this time. Lots of things in here. I've included politicians in this one, so we've got Mrs. Thatcher. We've got a typical 80s hairdo for a man there. We've got a picture of Ultravox, popular at the time. Something that was very popular, accessories-wise, was a little sequin purse. Something you might all be familiar with, which is Carmen Rollers, their logo. A popular book during the 80s, sorry, it's the wrong way around, but Bramley Hedge, which I'm sure you all know. We've got some chair covers. That was a popular thing at the time, to cover the chairs rather than buying a new suite. We've got some sewing patterns there with the 80s fashions on. What's this one? Oh, we've got the Pretenders on an outdoor concert. This one, basically decor from the 80s with all the red colours and the old typewriter there. Popular DJ at the time, Mike Reed. Open toe shoes that were very popular. I think they still are now, but it's not something that I could wear. Plant hangers, they were all the rage in the 80s. Well-known children's programme, Thomas the Tank Engine. Another household fashion of the time, to cover your little occasional tables with covers. This is an interesting piece. I've kept the writing on for the date, but it's the British Monopoly Championship. So that's an interesting little piece. Another singer of the time, David Bowie. Another one, Grace Jones, popular lady during the 80s. This one is a little girl enjoying watching a film and eating a popcorn. Probably the most popular event of the 80s, Charles and Diana wedding. Fashion again, when bangles were all the rage. And a big hair of the day as well. She's definitely got big hair there. Popular thing was roller skating in the 80s. That's that. And Doc Martens, which are always popular no matter what the year is. But they were particularly popular during the 80s. Who have we got here? Is that Erasure, I believe? What's this one? This one is decor again, and it was like all the wicker furniture and things that was popular in those days. Typical 80s hairstyle again, very short. This one actually reminds me of when I used to live with my mum and dad. Open coal fire with a coal scuttle. That really reminded me of my childhood. And there again, a family sitting down to tea, which I don't think they do much of these days. This one is typical, I hope you can see the full picture. This is typical fashion of the 80s. Lots of bright colours, bright colour tights to go with everything. And red shoes as well. That was definitely of the era. Another well-known event of the 80s was Live Aid. And another singer I'm not sure if he was part of Live Aid, I think he must have been. You can't mistake Adamant. I think that's a really nice picture. Oh, now we've got typical 80s video and cassette there. We've got pictures of New Romantics there in all the makeup. Another group here, that's Aha. Young boy enjoying making something with his, presumably it's Lego. I don't know if it's Lego or something else on that one. Now this is something that was quite popular in the 80s, but we don't seem to see anything of. These little egg cup covers, keep your little egg warm. This is a piece out of the film Tron. That one, that's the fashion again from the 80s, where they wore gloves, you know, lacy gloves with no full fingers in them. So that's that. Oh, a gentleman here wearing a, I don't know what you want to call it, if you want to call it a dressing gown or whatever. That was the fashion for them days. We've got Boy George. We've got a old-fashioned video camera. Don't see many of those these days. We've got Joan Armour Trading and Kid Creole. Popular cartoon at the time was Danger Mouse. Yeah, Danger Mouse. Used to like him when I was little. Typical hat fashion of the days. Basically old-fashioned computers when they were massive things. What have we got here? All the Stranglers. They were very popular right at the start of the 80s. And then a typical, you can see that, Christmas decorations of the 80s, but also the phones of that time, before they started doing all the buttons and things on. And then is this the last one? Right, and then the last one is a typical dad jumper that everybody used to knit in the 80s. So there we go. That's him in his new jumper. So that's the other set that I wanted to show you today. So if you're interested in things like this, as well as lots of other subjects, please take a look at my Etsy page. It'll be appearing on the screen. So that's it for now, and I'll see you next time, guys. Bye bye.